Hello again there, everybody. This is Jund League number 107, and almost an entire month after Modern Horizons 2 releases, I was finally able to reserve a few copies of Ragavan, Nimble, Pilferer. So I've got 3 copies in the deck today. Obviously, for testing purposes, you want as many as possible. The reason I'm playing 3 today is because this card is worth 119 tickets and change. And my Mana Trader subscription account goes up to like 435-ish, I think. So 358 tickets worth of Ragavans right here. And that didn't leave a whole lot of room for a lot else renting-wise. And I did want to play copies of Dauthi Voidwalker, and these are also like 32 tickets a piece. So between these 5 cards, I was like 5 tickets short of my my rental cap. So that's why I'm playing 5. And along similar lines, I'm not playing any copies of Ren and 6, because that's the card that I typically rent. And those are also still 45 or so tickets a piece, so I literally just couldn't rent them without shelling out a lot more dollars. And I didn't feel like doing that. So we're just not going to play Ren and 6. To supplement the card advantage slot, we're playing 3 copies of Dark Confidant, which also might just be well positioned at the moment. Ren and 6 isn't really killing a whole lot other than the monkey itself, which is a very good thing to be killing. So maybe it's a big enough downside to not be playing the Ren and 6. But again, this isn't the ideal case. This is me just having a literal budgetary cap. So I guess let's talk about the rest of the deck. As I was talking about right before I started the recording with the chat, it's very possible that discard isn't very good right now. Lots of people have been saying they've been seeing people go lower on discard spells, which makes some sense to me. Discard, I think, typically shines, especially shines in formats that are filled with control decks and combo decks. And there just really isn't a whole lot of combo right now, and control is never really a big portion of the format. So maybe discard isn't at its absolute best at the moment, but it can never be really terrible. Its worst case is kind of fine. And then as far as the discard sweep goes, or sorry, as far as the removal sweep goes, we're playing 3 copies of Bolt, 3 copies of Push. Still lots of blue-red and red-based aggro, so the 1-mana removal is still probably pretty important. And there's also lots of lots of copies of the new delve threat of the format. I forgot the name, the double blue dragon that I'm sure someone will remind me of the name of. So when it comes to my 2-mana removal spells, I've always talked about the differences between Terminate, Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay, and Dreadbore. And I think this is especially the time to not be playing things like Abrupt Decay, because it doesn't kill that dragon, whereas Terminate does. And Dragon is a really, really big threat, so being able to kill it with the Terminate or an Assassin's Trophy at instant speed I think is going to be pretty great. And obviously I really don't like giving opponents lands, so I think Terminate probably just going to be better than Assassin's Trophy most of the time. Lots of artifact decks going on right now, so to round out my interactive spells, I've got 2 copies of Kolaghan's Command, which I expect to also be very good with the Voidwalkers and the Ragavans. And then just to pile on more threats, of course, we've got our classic 4 copies of Tarmogoyf, 3 copies of Bloodbraid Elf, and today I'm playing 2 copies of Kroxa. Out of the sideboard, we've just got a lot of Grave Hate and a lot of Artifact Hate. So, Artifact Hate, we only have 1 dedicated piece in Ancient Guards, but I think the Artifact decks are probably typically fine-ish matchups as is. But I am playing a lot of Graveyard Hate. We've got 2 copies of Voidwalker in the main deck, but after that we've got 2 copies of Ashiok, which also has other utility in stopping searches versus various Stoneforge piles. I've got 3 copies of Leyline of the Void, and 2 copies of Nihil Spellbomb. I don't expect to bring in Leyline versus something that's just playing Glorious, but I will bring in stuff like Ashiok and Spellbomb. And there's also a good amount of grindy stuff out there right now, so if we face anything like that, I don't really have very many tools specifically for those, other than maybe Spellbomb, just as a value 1 for 1, or I guess 0 for 0 a lot of the time. But Huntmaster I think can maybe fill that slot kind of well. I'm only playing 3 Bloodbraids, so we won't necessarily be inverting our curve too much. And it's also a little nice extra thing to play when we're relatively high on Kolaghan's Command in the format. So those are the reasons for those choices there. Let's quickly take a look at the current Modern format as it sits today. Today is the 13th of July, and this is what our top 15 decks are looking like. If my computer doesn't want to derp on me, okay, cool. So this is what the top 15 is looking like. So a few graveyard-based decks, a few aggro-based decks, but as I was mentioning earlier, not a whole lot of combo, not a whole lot of control. So I guess if you want to consider Amulet Titan combo, which it is, Amulet Titan a very popular combo deck. If you want to consider Hammer Time a combo deck, then there's one as well. But I think Hammer Time is probably, at least before Urza Saga, was a pretty solid matchup. After Urza Saga, it might be a completely different story. And then I guess like some of these Living End decks could also be considered combo. We got lots of graveyard hate for those. So that's what we're looking at for today. And let's jump into the matches and see what kind of shenanigans we run into. Alright, I got a lot of chat to catch up on. I told Mana Traders who I am and it paid off. Not exactly, but we can pretend. You're not sure about Voidwalker in the main? I've had it be, like, at least fine. Like, it hasn't been bad and it hasn't been phenomenal. But, having a good amount, a good piece of grave hate in the main deck means you can shore up the graveyard matchups and can maybe devote some extra slots to other resources in the sideboard. I did it in this case. I've got lots of extra grave hate. I've got 2 Spell Bombs, 2 Ashiok's, 3 Leyline, but it's a route that it at least affords us. For only playing Goyf and BBE, is access to these cards worth the painful mana? I honestly don't even think it is, which is honestly I think one of the reasons why Rakdos just mid-range is one of the best decks right now. I think Rakdos might just be the natural evolution of Jund. And was like you said, it really is only Goyf and Bloodbraid in as far as the main deck is concerned. Alright, we've got turn 1 Monkey, but no turn 1 land or Black Source, so let's ship. Yeah, this is not as exciting, but it's keepable. And so I can go Overgrown Tomb on... I guess I go Blood Crypt on one, so I can have both my 1-mana spells painlessly. I think I'm going to bottom the Ravine. It's pretty unlikely this thing is going to get activated anytime soon, and I think I'd rather just have all my lands coming untapped. So let's bottom that. And then I'll plan on Thought Seizing on 1. And Peace South Player with the sub. Just saw it. Thanks, I appreciate it. Gonna try to get that 5-0. We're immediately playing against Mill. Interesting. Alright, well, I'm going to bolt the crap out of that. Thoughtseize will be good for a later turn anyway. Zap. Just going to expand this, as I'm sure I'll need to. Thought I yielded, but I guess not. There goes a Lily, a K-Command, and a Thoughtseize. Not a great draw. I guess I'm just gonna lead on Thoughtseize. They've got... Oh, this is the basically mill your deck card, right? I should probably just take that. I'm not particularly worried about much else. I guess Drown in the Lock is the thing that deals with my Liliana. But this card is going to be basically mill my whole deck, right? I didn't actually do the math to figure out how many cards are in my... what the average cost in my deck is. This hand's pretty strong, though. I guess the combo with Surgical Extraction makes me even more so want to just take the Laughter, because their hand doesn't actually do anything without it. So while I am worried about this Drown, I think the Tasha's Laughter is going to be the most worrisome thing for me. And then I think I'm actually just going to play the Mountain here and plan on cycling Cave. I need to find action sooner rather than later. And I'm going to avoid fetching because of the Archive Trap, but it's not looking like we're going to have to fetch. Goyf. Goyf's great. I think Goyf is probably going to be more important in the context of actually trying to win this game. So I'm actually kind of thinking that I should just throw the Liliana into the Drown. I think the Liliana is actually just less important. Although the Liliana would kill the crab, but as long as they're not actually just guaranteed lands, it's possible that this crab isn't even worth that much. And I think I'm going to play the Overgrown Tomb. My life total doesn't really matter, but if I draw another green spell next turn, like another Goyf, I'm going to want to be able to go Goyf, Goyf. So while the Blackleaf Cliffs won't be coming in untapped, I think since my life doesn't matter, it's probably best just to make sure that if I draw a Goyf next turn, it's the best it can be. So let's just shock this, play the Liliana, assume that it gets drowned. What's up, Spunky? Draw a card. So that will turn on the Archive Trap, which is dangerous. We have to search with the Field of Ruin. No luck. Alright, well, we get to resolve the Tarmogoyf, though, which is at least nice. And then I guess I'm digging for action, so I'll play Peatland, sack it, end step. Maybe they get greedy and try to Field of Ruin the Peatland, who knows. Getting a Goyf down before they can surgical them, though, is nice. I guess I'll get... I don't really need any more green. I guess I'll just get black. I guess I'm only going to have one green source after I sacrifice. But I'm playing Kroxa. That's a pretty big reason not to get a forest. Let's let this resolve. I don't actually need this mana. If they're gonna surgical me, I don't want to risk that. I don't want to risk drawing a card that gets surgicaled. I'm still gonna sack at end step, but this gives them a shorter window. All right, we knew about that. Wow, they drew another trap. All right, so their hand is surgical and something, and we did bin a Kroxa. We don't have the red to get it into play this following turn, though, unless we draw untapped red somehow. That's not it. That'll at least hit the surgical. They're likely to just surgical the Kroxa. So there was never actually a window to do this. Right? They gotta be hitting that. Yeah. Only the two. Alright, well I guess this is pretty much free. Another surgical. They didn't want to surgical me again. So I could play the Dark Confidant. Funnily enough, it does kind of mill me for one every turn, and it does just get blanked by the crab. I could do a preliminary check and like try to figure out what's still in my deck. What are the things that are relevant? All of the Blood Braids are gone. I guess the Lilianas are gone. There's one Liliana left, right? 1, 2, 3. So it could be outs to finding a Liliana to kill this crab. Lands also mill me. I mean, if they draw a fetch, let's say they draw 2 lands, including a fetch land, that has me dead in 2 draw steps, so I can't really kill them through that anyway. Yeah, I'm going to play it. This could find burn as well, right? There's 1 bolt down, 1, there's 2, so there's 1 bolt in the deck as well, and they did draw the fetch. Brutal. Alright, so this is going to put me down to, I guess 5 cards. Then I'm going to draw to 2. So if they draw a land, I'll die. What did they even hit? They hit a push, a Liliana, and a push. Brutal. I don't know what's left in the deck. Alright, well, it was just lands. Unfortunate. Those removal spells would have been good. Alright, land. So they get to go Laris plus Crab. If they drew a land, they kill us. That was always going to be the case. Not many good things were left. Alright, so now we are just dead, unfortunately. Alright, Mill. I don't know that they're playing something weird like a Mesmeric Orb, but that's probably not reason enough to bring in Grudge when we've already got Kolaghan's Command. Brutality does seem good. We could maybe get cute with a Spell Bomb. I don't know, like, if they're trying to, like, Ancestral Recall, we could Spell Bomb to make them only draw one, which could be good. Nothing else here seems particularly exciting, though. I think I need all the 1-mana removal for the various crabs. The discard seems good. The Lilianas, just as additional outs to crabs and ways to pressure the hand, seem fine. Like, honestly, this configuration already seems like we're kind of okay. Yeah, I don't know what to cut here. It's definitely not Kroxa considering they're milling them. We need the Goyfs. It's our best and fastest clock. I could see trying to cut some top end just to stay low to the ground. Kolaghan's Command, I guess, a consideration, but it's one of my only good outs to an orb if they're playing orb. Yeah, maybe the Spell Bomb is just too cute. Because we still need 3 cuts just as is. If they're playing only crabs and I guess Lurrus, then maybe we can shave on things like Terminate. Maybe we just cut Terminate altogether. Then our only outs to their various crabs are 3 Push, 3 Bolt, Terminate, Lilies. That's still a lot of stuff. I guess Kolaghan's Command to an extent as well. Yeah, I think I'm into to cutting a Terminate. And honestly, Liliana not even that good. I think this is probably just fine. Let's go first. Yeah, sounds great. We've got the discard spells to back up the Goyf, and then ways to kill crabs. Really gonna prioritize letting this Goyf stick around. Yeah, I'll just lead on Blackleaf Cliffs. Not fetching first means they get one more draw step at an archive trap if they don't already have it. They do have one. Yeah, I think I just have to take some combination of this Fatal Push and the Drown, but these 2 mill spells are gonna work me. But I mean, I'm just not winning if I don't get to keep this Goyf. So I think I just, between the 2 discard spells, have to take the push on the Drown. So I guess I'll just take the push first. Bob's a good hit. So if I just play the Goyf here, they could Surgical, which would be bad for me, and then use the Drown to just terminate the Tarmogoyf, which just I'm not really able to allow to happen. Also, if they Surgical the Inquisition, that's bad for me because I have one in hand. I think I just like have to do this. And then I could just not fetch yet. Their hand's quite good. Alright, dismiss. They've drawn actual factual counterspell. Well, now they've got 2 answers to the Goyf no matter what I do, so now I'm feeling like I kind of want to take the Laughter, because that card just domes me for basically half my deck. Although, taking an answer means they only have 1 answer to second creature. I just like have to take this Laughter. This thing mills me for literally half the deck. Let's just take that. Play my land. Not fetch yet. Hopefully they just like play a crab or something and I can use my removal spell. they play a crab, though, they're putting counter spells down. I'm not sure they're super interested in doing that. I mean, I am playing a 2-drop on my turn that's coming up, so I'm fetching here. Hopefully they don't like hit a Goyf and surgical a Goyf. That would be backbreaking. I guess what I could have done is I just fetch shock on my turn and then immediately play the Goyf, so that way they can't surgical it because I'd have priority. So this is a mistake if they both hit a Goyf and surgical a Goyf. So I got lucky there, but I should have played a little tighter. Alright, first thing I do is get encountered. I'm drawing more removal for the cards that they don't have in their deck, or they don't have in play, which is unfortunate. Alright, I'll lead on the Mustancer. I'm happy to have the Bob, too. I mean, either one of these things are good. I'm just going to drown it? Sure. So do I want to stick with Rakdos, or stick with Jund or go to the Rakdos? I think the Rakdos deck is just actually very good. But I mean, Jund is just the fun deck that I like to play. Found another Goyf and they haven't surgical it yet. Well, I'm gonna snap it off before they do surgical it. Counterspell this one. Yep. Yeah, we're drawing the cards that deal with the half of the deck that they haven't found, which is unfortunate. Also, something to note that I didn't previously pick up on is they did not reveal Lurrus this game. That could mean they've got the 3-mana enchantment. I'm gonna upkeep fetch for purposes of Archive Trap. Don't want them to like draw an Archive Trap. I'll Blood Crypt, and I will Shock, because if my life total just straight doesn't matter, and I do want to be able to kill something. Of course, their one card was a trap. Brutal. So they've got a Surgical. At least Surgical isn't that good. They did draw a Crab. Kind of cat and mouse game now as to when I kill this. Honestly, I might just Fatal Push and then in response to the fetch, Fatal Push again. It's not ideal. Mill 1. And now they may be thinking about just surgicaling the Croxa. Yeah. Not the ideal way to do it. I mean, they've got a few cards in their deck that do just kind of kill me, right? The 3-mana card, and I guess most of their mill spells, really. Don't want to get trapped. Yeah, they drew it, huh? Is this the Frank Sanity? Oh, okay, Ashiok, I guess, is what they brought in. Alright, well, I can attack and bolt it, so at least it doesn't get to mill me again. Voidwalker, just additional pressure is nice. Alright, this is the part where we hope they just draw lands. That's the rest of the deck. GG. Yeah, Tasha's Laughter is kind of a beating. I mean, any mill spell there would have done it. What's up, Chaos? Yeah, it's not amazing. We can bolt the first thing if we have to. We've got Voidwalker on 2, which is probably just better than Goyf. Then I'll get, I guess, Blood Crypt. Definitely want to get a black source so I can Voidwalker. And then I guess red source makes sense because of bolt. This is a hollow one pile. It's looking like it could be hollow one pile. Oh god. Yep. Could have been worse. Please no hollow one. Please no hollow one. Sick. So now I can get Blood Crypt and then play Nurturing Peatland to deploy a Voidwalker. And this should be good versus like Flame Wakes and stuff if they're on that plan. Also Bloodghast, I suppose, if they're on that plan. Alright, well that's one thing that Voidwalker did for us. Is it Asmo time? Yep, we've got the Liliana for it. Or we could just bolt it. But I feel like just getting a Liliana in play has got some merit. Forest awkward because it doesn't escape Kroxa, but I'm not going to say no to a Liliana onto an empty board. Especially want to do this. We like for sure have to kill this because we don't want second food to come into play so they can kill our Voidwalker. The alternate line, which may have been better, was deploy a Tarmogoyf and bolt. That just applies pressure faster, and that actually kind of seems like it would have been better. Should have thought about that for an extra second. Vengevine going by the wayside. If they've got another Asmo, we could be in trouble. I guess we can bolt that one. We do have Asmo. Got third copy of Cookbook. Inquisition, is that good? Well, this is for sure getting bolted, which means we have two mana available otherwise, and I almost for sure have to play this Tarmogoyf. And I would like to play the Forgotten Cave to eventually work towards Kroxa, so I guess I'm just going to end up discarding the Inquisition. So, lead here, so they discard without info. They're discarding Cookbook or something. Sure. I don't think the third Cookbook is particularly valuable. They agree. This isn't going the worst. I guess they could discard both of their cards to make 2 food, and then they're 1 food short of reanimating the Troll King. But then we'll have Liliana down to Edict it and set them back. This is sack 4, right? It's not 3. Oh, it is 3. Okay. I mean, we've just got the Liliana in play. This doesn't have haste or anything. And then we've got him just dead, right? We can attack for 6, then Kroxa hits him for 3. What's up, Mom? Alright, mono red. Mono red quad green card. Alright, so Ashiok's looking good. The Leylines are looking good. The Spell Bombs are looking good. I don't think the Brutalities are looking good. Grudge does kill the various cookbook effects. So I guess that's probably worth it. Voidwalker, excellent. Kolaghan's Command looks fine. The Lilianas really don't seem like they're going to be doing a lot. They do kill the Troll King, but it also kind of feeds their plan. The pushes, I guess, kill Asmo pretty easily, but so do the bolts. Terminates also kill the Troll King, which is nice. Yeah, I think maybe Kroxa also not good, along those similar reasons why I was taking out the Lilianas. I just have to be careful not to take out too many threats, because the rest of the stuff I have is just hate. So I need 2 more cuts. If the only thing I'm actually interested in killing is something like Asmo or Hollow One, then I should probably be keeping Terminate in, because those kill the Hollow Ones. So I think Push is probably the weakest of the removal spells, so let's, I guess, trim on those. I think Bob is also probably pretty fine, but maybe since we're on the draw, it's better to make sure we don't fall even farther behind by making sure we can kill Asmo, and then when we're on the play, maybe we can play the Bob back again. Sure. Yep, we've got Leyline and some interactive stuff. We can kill an Asmo, we can use a discard spell. And they are base mono red, so I'm hoping that means they have fewer answers to Leyline. They just skip their turn. Sure. I wonder what that could mean. In the event that they Burning Inquiry, I want to make sure I get my 1 red source out of my hand, because I don't want them hitting it. James says, very unsure about the Rakdos deck because to play it's going to cost me $400 and I'm going to have to sell some Jund pieces, which you don't want to do. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if you're trying to be like seriously competitive, then I think it's probably worth doing. But if you're not trying to be seriously competitive, then stick with what you like playing just for fun, because you're going to have the most fun, right? So, the Madness stuff, it discards into Exile, so you still can cast them off of the discard. Vengevine's not going to be good in the face of Leyline. I guess I still am just taking a cookbook, because they still do get to make food. Them having 2, though, makes me less wanting to do that. But I mean, them being able to discard multiple cards means that their Hollow One could eventually become a threat. Yeah, I'll just take a book. Not ideal. I mean, their hand is the kind of hand that could still go through us. We don't actually have any pressure of our own. So now they get to Cookbook, play a Rootwalla. Definitely not taking Rootwalla, right? Because then they just Madness it for 0. Play a Root Walla. Yep. So I can push the first one. Ooh, Raggy. Unfortunately, Ragavan's just not really getting in. I could play Nurturing Peatland, so I could play Ragavan and still hold up push. I think I'm just going to do that. And then if they attack with the Root Wall, I'll just snap off a block. And if they play other Root Wall, I'll push it end step. Zap. Save my opponent some clicks here. I mean, they're hitting us for 3 a turn and we have nothing going. Wait, they didn't cast it? That must have been an error. Yeah, that must have been an unfortunate misclick. Alright, that's pressure. And Asmo could still be annoying. Because they do have the ability to play it. And then they could kill Voidwalker again. Not the land that casts Bloodbraid, but a land that casts Bloodbraid next turn. Yeah, I understand liking winning. I also enjoy liking winning. I also like winning. The green cards just aren't the payoff they used to be when black and red have beat sticks of their own now. It's like historically in the past, the big reason to play green was like Bloodbraid Goyf, like the clocks, right? But I mean, the Voidwalker is a really solid clock too, in a non-green color. And then Ragavan also a really solid clock in a non-green color. Ooh, they found a hollow one. Alright, they're kind of in it. Oh, they had the hollow one. That was always the case. So their hand's Vengevine now. Read Terminate. Sick. So, Flameblade Adept does have Menace. The Root Walla does get to kind of just attack for 3. They are winning this race, so I may just have to take the turn off to terminate the hollow one. And then continue attacking. This obviously can't block. So I'm going to attack. And then I'll let them make their attack, and then I'll terminate hollow one. Though the Root Walla only attacks for 1 less, so maybe I should just kill that because that makes Kolaghan's command a better draw, because then I can kill 2 things. I think the math might just work out where I should kill the hollow one anyway, because this way they're only attacking for 4 at a time. If I kill this, they're hitting for 5, which does actually change the clock. Yeah, they could consistently discard this card to power up the Flame Blade. Also true. They do get to gain life as well. Yeah, I've just like gotta terminate this hollow one. I'm gonna let them activate this first, because that means they can't sacrifice the food for a turn. Oh, they just rather sacrifice the food. Interesting. You're wondering if Mishra's Bauble will get banned? I think if something gets banned, that's probably one of the more likely cards, if not the most likely. Alright, I guess I'm just going to fetch Basic Swamp and use it to cast Bloodbraid. If we hit any burn spell, I guess they still can gain some life. And I do want to sacrifice the fetch here because I'd have to pay the life to cast it anyway because of the peatland. What do we got? Not a discard spell, please. Spell Bomb. It's a redraw. Should probably still just attack for 6 though. Puts them to 4 after sacking a food, which means they're forced to use their mana to sack a food again and can't pump Root Walla. Or they could scoop, that works too. Yeah, Bauble, not having Bauble does make Lurrus worse. I think Lurrus is still probably good enough without the Bauble. But it does make it a little worse. Can we get turn 1 Ragavan? We're on the play. I want to see the monkey. Monkey. No monkey. But our hand's good otherwise. They've revealed Lurrus. Yeah, I'll keep. How's Ragavan? We've found it exactly once and it got killed. So don't know yet. I mean, I'm imagining it's fine. Like it is just a must answer. In the context that we had it, we actually it was actually meant to block because it was like turn 6. Turn 1 crash through. Alright, so I could be playing against a Blood Moon deck. If that's the case, maybe I should start getting basics now. I really don't want to get basic Forest. I'd much rather get basic Swamp. Which means that I guess this should get Stomping Ground, and then I should use the Verdant to get a Swamp. That has me casting all of my spells, with obviously the exception of Liliana, but I need another land for that one anyway. So let's hedge by getting basic Swamp, and then I'll play the Tarmogoyf here. They can't even bolt it because that would add instant to the yard and make Goyf a 3/4. So probably not burn because of crash through. I guess probably not blue-red. They're gonna like dart it too. Fair enough. Alright, well that's a card we are unable to cast. I guess I'll do my castable, but feel sad about no land. This would have been a good turn for Liliana. The good news is we're probably not dying anytime soon. But this is their Blood Moon turn. What's the record? At any given point, you can always see the record on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. It should be like right here. Alright, let's see if they make more than one color. Nope, just red. Double creature is annoying, but we've got double 1 mana removal spell. That's a land. Not a black land. I'm gonna bolt now. If they've got mutagenic growth, it'll be unfortunate. But I'll hold up the push for their turn in case they want to make decisions before I kill it. I don't want to wait on the bolt, though, because then if they do draw mutagenic growth, they get to save their thing. Yeah, only 3 Ragavan, because they're 120 tickets online. And I have a 430 ticket mana trader cap. And then I used the remaining balance to get 2 Voidwalkers, which were 30 something each. This is like Luris to hand. We've got Terminate for that. What's up, Fish Beef? Doing well. Hope you are too. Okay, so I should probably just shock escape Croxa, huh? I was gonna say I could shock Liliana, but their Luris is probably just gonna outvalue it, so this is looking like a good time to just get a Croxa into play. We've got all the cards to escape it. Let's do it. Also, if they find a Blood Moon, this is going to be our last good time to get a clock into play. Yeah. Alright, so mono red prowess. Another reason to be just Rakdos mid range is you're a lot less soft. You're a lot less soft to just getting Blood Moon, which is nice. Brutality is just about my only slam dunk here. Huntmaster is interesting. Maybe it's good enough. It might just be better than something like Bloodbraid. In fact, it probably just is. This card's better from behind, but this card's better at closing. But we're on the draw, so we're more likely to be from behind, right? I guess Voidwalker being double black is a liability, and it also just doesn't block at all. And then Bob's also looking not great. So maybe we just bring the Bloodbraid back in for lack of better thing to do. Is Spellbomb gonna have utility ever? I guess if they're playing like Seasoned Pyromancer, I mean, it does make Lava Dart worse. They're playing Luris. Yeah, Spellbomb could be good. Do I want both though? It's probably better than a Thoughtseize. I think I'm in for this. This looks acceptable. They finally go to a Modern Knight at the LGS, but current gen list needs loads of tweaking. Copied your 2-for-1. I copy your 2-for-1 heavy list during the Euro meta, and it's not a little behind the curve. Yeah, yeah. Things have changed quite a bit. All right, so this hand is weak to Blood Moon, but we can use a discard spell, and we have a way to kill their first thing, and we've got a Ragavan. I mean, Ragavan's really bad versus the Lava Dart. I'm gonna keep, but it's not exciting. Swift Spear, yep. Two. Another Inquisition is nice. So obviously using a discard spell now is not great because they get to hit us again with the Swift Spear, but the issue is, so if I don't use a discard spell now, like if they have another threat and I don't use a discard spell to take it, I just don't have a removal spell for the next thing that they play. So I think I almost have to use an Inquisition now because I just don't have answers to additional threats. They've got 2 more threats than get effed. But if they've got just 1 more, then this is great. If they've got no additional threats, then also fine. Alright, they do have only 1 more, so this Inquisition was really good. Go. Their hand's not that good, which is a little bit of a reprieve. This timing is weird. So if I Inquisition, they're almost definitely just going to Tar Fire in response. I guess not. Alright, so they'll draw a card. I'll take a swipe at it with the Inquisition. Alternatively, I could save the Inquisition for when they inevitably put Luris into hand. There are 2 cards though that we don't know what it is for. So I'm kind of just thinking we should use the Inquisition now. We've got the Kolaghan's Command for the Luris at some point anyway. So let's fire this off. The odds it hits are high. And it does in fact hit. Both of these things deal with the Ragavan. If I find like a Gwaif or something, the ending's going to be annoying. I still think I'm probably wanting to just take the Bolt here. I don't want to get aggroed out. So their hand's ending and a Foothills. And I should for sure kill this. Oh, I tapped in a way where I can't. Yeah, I didn't think. Alright, well I guess I'm playing Ravine. Should have played Swamped Inquisition. I wasn't thinking about it. Yeah, that was pretty much the worst time to pop. I would agree. So the last card is Prismatic Ending, but they're going to put Luris to hand. And then Luris is going to get a card off of a Boggle, which will be annoying. I should not be taking 2 here, but I doofed. Luris to hand, so their hand is Prismatic Ending and Luris and whatever they draw off of Boggle. Alright, and again, this timing is weird, but okay. Oh. So their hand's ending in Luris, so we know for a fact that if I play this Brutality, it's gonna hit. It'll hit the Prismatic Ending, which maybe means we get to keep the Ragavan around. So if a Brutality here, kill this, look at their hand, take that. I don't even want to gain life here, right? Because every card that I have is relevant. I guess I could ditch the Ragavan with the intention of just buying it back with the Kolaghan's Command, which is also a thing. Alternatively, I could dash the Ragavan and just try to spike a removal spell. And then if I don't hit a removal spell, I could just go Swamp and still cast Brutality off of Treasure. What does that look like? If I cast Brutality off of Treasure, the cards that I will have in hand are Nurturing Peatland, Bolt, and Kolaghan's Command. I'm going to want to still escalate it at least once, which means I discard, I guess, Peatland. Is it even that good if I miss? Like if I miss, I deal them 2 damage, which just straight doesn't matter. It's probably just better for me to naturally try to Brutality. And then I can just hold the Bolt up for the Luris to kill it immediately. Yeah, I'm in for that. And I'll play the Swamp, discard the Peatland, and then hold up the Blackleaf Cliffs for the Bolt. So we'll escalate it 2 modes, -2, -2. There's already a creature in the yard, so I don't really have to worry about this. I'm thinking this. Seeing Mega V Ragavan's good this turn. Yeah, I just went through that line. I don't think it's good. So I'll take your Prismatic Ending, kill your Swift Spear, leaving up a red source, discarding Peatland. So your hand's Luris, which I'll Bolt. Like if you're saying to like play the Ragavan instead of holding a Bolt, I could see that as well. Sure. This timing was bad, right? Because if they fetch now, I get to just bolt their Luris. Is there a reason to leave up red source? Yes, so I can kill this on their turn. They played the bobble out of the yard, so this timing kind of doesn't matter. They drew a 1-drop anyway. Sure. Alright, well, I guess now I get to just do it all, right? I'll shoot this, have them discard their last card, and then play Ragavan. I guess please don't be a Lava Dart. And then I have to leave red up so I can play the monkey. It was just another bubble. Alright, monkey. Just monkey versus the world. Clever Luminancer. Alright, well, we get to connect. Draw a swamp, not great. If this doesn't hit something cool, I'm probably just going to sacrifice the peatland now. Try to actually hit something cool. We hit a Luminancer. Sure. And I guess I should still just sacrifice this. Aw, man. Should have played that. Why not just fire up the ravine with the swamp? Because they could just take the hit, and then there are ways that they kill us with the Luminancer, whereas if we just leave something up, I think that's a lot harder to happen. Like, we're so far ahead, this does not let them have a possibility of winning, right? Like, there's just no reason to fire up a ravine. We also just have to take damage from our own lands. It just puts us in a precarious situation that we just don't need to be in. If they cast any spell, they blow out the Ragavan. Let's just play this and say go. Like, if we just slow play it and play the control deck, they literally cannot win. So Ragavan wasn't insane there. Literally any threat would have done the thing. But I mean, it was serviceable. Is it just you, or is Monkey not what Jund wants? That's so. One of the things that I was skeptical of in the past. I guess the reason why I was skeptical is because Monkey tends to be really good when you're trying to be the beatdown, but when you're a good amount of the time the stance of the control deck, Monkey is a lot worse. And traditional Jund is pretty often the control deck in the matchup, in whatever matchup. So in situations like that, Monkey is just going to be really awkward to just straight not good. So I agree that it is definitely awkward at times, but then there are going to be games where it just carries. So it'll probably just be a balancing act. You'd rather just rely on the Confidant for card advantage? Yeah. They do a similar thing. The cool thing about the Bob, though, right, is that it doesn't actually have to connect to do a thing. So in board stalls, it can still accumulate advantage. Although coming down a whole turn earlier is nothing to be shrugged off. Both are lightning rods, right? See, if you play Ragavan on turn 1 and they kill it, they can't kill your turn 2 Bob. They revealed Luris. Keep. They have mulligans. Monkey. Alright, well, we can kill it. I guess I'll wait so they make decisions. But I mean, this Shock Overgrown Tomb Pass literally has to be Fatal Push, right? I'm anti-Ren. I'm not anti-Ren. I think it's very like format texture dependent. I don't believe in just blindly playing a card because everybody else is. I think there are definitely format textures where Ren is one of the best cards in the deck, and then I definitely think there are format textures where it's near unplayable. I think a good example of when it's near unplayable is if you're only using the +1, and like if the -1 doesn't reliably kill something in like 20% of matchups, then it's just not good. Like if it's just only a buy a land back spell, then I don't think it's reliable enough. But if you're gonna kill something reliably, something relevant in like 20+% of matchups, then hell yeah, play it. There are a good amount of X1s running around. I think it's only, I know like Ragavan obviously is probably one of the best X1s ever printed. But even the red aggro decks, the 1-drops have 2 toughness as a base and then have prowess. No 2-mana play is interesting. So this feels like a good Tarmogoyf turn. They could obviously pretty easily just have like a push or something, but it's kind of hard to not play something, right? So I'll play something. It hits Dragon Rage Channeler if it hasn't already grown, and the deck is very good at growing it, especially if it's playing Bobble. So I wouldn't really count on reliably killing Dragon Rage Channeler with the Ren and 6. 1 damage just ain't gonna do it most of the time. They didn't have the push, and they're Grixis. It's double bolting. Yeah, do what you gotta do. Alright, double Goyf down. Give me another. Not quite. I'm gonna play the Verdant here. This gives them information, but it allows me the ability to terminate it if I really want to. Like if they were to just like dash a Ragavan, for example, I definitely want to be able to terminate it. Alright, so Luris to hand. I'm not playing around Blood Moon the way the opponent's mana is situated. Alright, I'm going to play Peatland and intend on sacrificing it and step. Fish Beep says you love how much I've grown. There are more people in here in chat now. Been watching on YouTube since like 50 subs. Yeah, come a long way. Appreciate the support all the way through. Yeah, definitely have a lot of people active in chat. And I'm very inconsistent when it comes to a stream schedule. I kind of just stream whenever I have time / feel like it. And I don't always feel like it when I have time, and I don't usually have time. So these days I've been only streaming like once or twice a week, if that. Kind of just show up whenever I can. But that's why YouTube is good, because I can just put everything there. Alright, and they can actually dash Ragavan out of the yard, which they may be interested in doing. Yeah, I'll terminate that and then terminate Luris. And then it'll be a game of who draws better. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a good one. So what I could do is dash the Ragavan and terminate the Luris. Terminate just as a targeted spell is gonna be better if the opponent draws something like an Unearth. Because if I Liliana Edict and the Unearth Luris and play another creature, I no longer have a way to kill the Luris. So I think I'm just going to want a Liliana here. And also Liliana onto an empty board is just attractive in general. So I think I'm going to Liliana, probably shock the Stomping Ground, and deploy the Ragavan. Alright, so Liliana. This gives them information, because again, Terminate is the card that they know about. But again, I don't want to just be needlessly soft to something they could very easily have in their deck. And then this Blackleaf Cliffs is almost destined for this Liliana. Yeah, I can dash the Ragavan, but I would rather just have the Ragavan stay in play, so I don't have to keep on spending 2 mana on it. That's a good one. So I guess I'm going to plus and just play the Bloodbraid. Voidwalker is going to get to tag the Liliana if I don't just kill it now. The upside of Bloodbraid hitting removal, though, is just absolutely insane. Like, if I don't hit it, like, we're still just doing alright. I'll just have to be careful because if they draw like a removal spell, for example, and then kill anything, they could then cast it off of Voidwalker, and that could get dangerous. Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to just slow roll the Bloodbraid, and I guess I could attack with Ragavan first, because if that hits a removal spell, I'll just use that to hit the Voidwalker, and then I don't even have to think. Yeah, I'm gonna slow roll the Bloodbraid, see if Ragavan can hit removal, and this thing's got Shadow, so they can't block it. Have I liked Ragavan so far? It's been fine. Hasn't been insane. This is probably the best it's about to be in this situation here. Alright, what do we hit? Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Fatal Push, anyone? Never cast Snapcaster in Jund before. Sick. Alright, yeah, Ragavan was good there. So we're playing against Grixis Pile. Spellbomb probably going to be good. Huntmaster probably going to be good. Engineer is interesting for purposes of killing the opponent's Ragavans and also just probably trading with most things. Brutality is going to just be... It just kills literally everything in the deck and could be a good discard spell as well as a burn spell. So maybe Brutality's got some merit. Ashiok really only messes with the Luris plan, not much else. I guess if they're playing Kroxa, Ashiok also a consideration. So these are the things I'm going to try to fit in for sure, and I think these are the maybes. For sure, taking out all the discard, I really don't want to draw those in the matchup. But everything else seems like it's got to be on the strong side. I'm bringing in a good number of threats. I think Engineer is probably just too cute. And as far as Grave Hate is concerned, we've got 2 Voidwalkers, 2 Spellbombs. I think Ashiok also probably too cute. Like, when the rest of the deck is already so good, I don't really see a reason to bring in something marginal. Although finding our own Kroxas while getting rid of their own could be something I'm interested in doing. We need 2 more cuts as is. I think I'm going to cut a Tarmogoyf. Reason being is this matchup seems like it's going to be very card advantage oriented. Whereas they have no shortage of ways of 1-for-1ing this Goyf. Yeah, everything else just is a multi-for-1 or an answer to Luris. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of liking the deck just kind of as is, but we're at 61. On the draw, I think I'm good cutting a Liliana. They're pretty likely to have more than one creature in play, and for reasons outlined in the last game, Edicting is just not super reliable, especially versus Luris. You only have 3 Ragavan because you don't like the situation of having 1 cot in hand. Yeah, that's fair. Well, we do have 1 in hand. We have 6 lands. I got a ship, obviously. We don't have removal, but I'm not going to go to 5. I think I'm binning... Probably just the Bloodbraid, keep all the stuff I can cast. I'm sad to see Bloodbraid go, but everything else seems like it's going to be good. There's the Channeler. We don't have an answer to it. Never mind. Alright, so... If I get Stomping Ground here, I can't actually cast Voidwalker on 2. I'm just going to get Blood Crypt. I also just don't have a green card in hand. So let's get the Blood Crypt. And I'll do it now, so the opponent doesn't get any free surveils. Voidwalker is going to be annoying for Kroxa. Oh, I guess they don't have it. More Channelers, jeez. Now they've got Bubble. They were going for the triple surveil, I guess. They kept a card on top. Okay. So that's going to be type number 3. So yeah, Liliana versus multiple creatures, not exciting. Kolaghan's Command doesn't kill channelers as soon as they grow. Okay, we're drawn all right. I could play Voidwalker here because that could make it so that the channelers don't grow. That's reasonable. It's much worse versus a removal spell, though. And I do think I actually want to go the route of Fatal Push, because again, Liliana versus multiple creatures just is not something I'm super interested in. So let's just kill this now so they don't get the extra Surveil. And then hope they don't continue flooding the board. Think you like shipping Voidwalker there, but maybe a little silly. I mean, if we had the Bloodbraid, we would be far from that too. And Voidwalker does relevantly interact with what they're doing, even though it doesn't attack or block very well at this stage. Doesn't block at all. Alright, they did top with this Veil last time. I wonder if it was just like the land. Alright, they have another creature. That's annoying. I mean, if we find the land, we can still just Kolaghan's Command, which would be ideal. Okay. They've got 3 types. I mean, it's still just a card advantage based game. I'm thinking I should probably just shoot the Voidwalker, have them discard a card. If I shoot this and have them discard a card, they could maybe grow this and make our damage not kill it any longer. So I'm definitely, I think, doing this. And I want to do it now so they're not surveilling or otherwise tricking us with something. So our Kolaghan's Command will be exiled, right? Yeah, and they discarded a Drown. Alright, so that's good. They couldn't counter it now. Had I waited, they'd have drowned it. So if they can stop playing creatures, we can maybe Liliana, but no longer. Now we're likely to just lose to the stupid Lurrus. And they topped with the Channeler. I'm assuming there goes Liliana finally. And we set up the Liliana, but they ended up just having all the creatures. Jace, yikes. Alright, well we need a way to kill something. That is not it. I guess if I Voidwalker, they just get to flip flip the Jason, kill it. I could sacrifice the Peatlands in hopes to spike something. But I mean, this is gonna happen almost no matter what. It's like this flips immediately. Like if I do this and miss, then I'm still just probably losing to Lurrus. I mean, they can't do this and this, right? So I guess if I have to split their decision, I can at least maybe fork what they're doing. So I'll do it. I'll do this too. Not looking good though. So yeah, probably gonna drown. They drown this, at least that means they're not drowning the Kroxa. Which would give us cards to escape it. Yeah, didn't in fact draw the black-red half. Well, it's gonna be hard to draw the green half when there are like 6 green cards in the entire deck. Yeah, Bloodbraid would have been kind of hot there. But I mean, if they're just drowning this, we're gonna get to escape the Kroxa. If their last card's Plush, it'll be unfortunate. But at least future copies of Drown are relatively turned off. Ooh. Well, I'm gonna escape the Kroxa. Their thing does fly. But this may be one of my only good windows to get the Kroxa down. I'll have to go to 5 off of the Channeler. It looks like they don't have a kill spell for this. Alright. We're doing alright now. They're gonna get to shrink the thing with the Jace, but not that much. Yep, we'll go to 5. If they put Lurrus to hand, I guess they'll just discard the other card. Yeah, Lurrus to hand. Land, not exactly what I'm looking for. Going to 4 is probably free just because of lightning bolt, but 3 feels like it's gonna be bad for me. They don't know about the terminate, and I for sure want to kill the Jace now, right? They only have Inquisition, I guess, but if they Inquisition and then take the terminate, I no longer have the terminate for the Lurrus. I guess I have to terminate this anyway. If I just go at them, they go to 8, but I don't even get to kill them next turn through a block. I guess I could just get the information first with the peatland, because if I draw, I guess, like a Liliana, that could change what I'm doing. Sure. Let's get the info. Goyf. Goyf's good too. So I think now I'm attacking the Jace, they'll discard a card, I can then... I still have to terminate this. Alright. So attack the Jace. Trigger. Discard your non-Lurrus card. Okay, and it was a land, so they do get hit. And I guess kill this. You know, I can just wait. The thing is, if I let them cast the Lurrus and then cast the Bauble, they get to Surveil. So I should probably just do this now, so they don't get to Surveil for free. And then end step, I'll fetch a green source, probably Stomping Ground, and then try not to go below 4 for free. Yep. So I guess this is Bauble now. We're shuffling that away. Another Bauble. Well, if they draw 2 lands, they have to block, which is funny. So this is Stomping Ground. Say no. You'll draw your 2 cards. Spell Bomb. That's a good one. I guess I should Spell Bomb first, because if I find a removal spell, I can just get the Lurrus out of the way now, right? And then if I don't, I'll just play the Goyf on top of everything else. Nope. So at a minimum, they'll have maybe 1 card in their yard to recur with the Lurrus. No, they just take it. So they're having to block, which is funny. That's what I got. Saying why not save terminate for Lurrus, because I was at 5 at the time and they had a 3-power flyer, and then I'm just dead to any burn spell in their deck. And additionally, I would have to just kill it again, kill their flyer anyway, because I'm dead in 2 hits. So I literally just had to kill it. Did you draw 2 bolts? Okay, cool. See, I would have died there had I saved it. You want attention, big boy? Where do I go?
He said I was so good.
You were good on your walk?
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. So 3-1, not a bad record. Losing to only Mill in round 1. And they were close games too. They ended up drawing pretty average, but their average draw just kind of smashed us. And Sarge, thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. If you're not already followed, you definitely should. It's a great free way to support my content, and I make a lot of it. So if this is the kind of thing you like, definitely consider hitting that follow button. It'd be a great help to the channel. They've revealed Luris for the 4th time this league. Keep. We can kill a thing, we can kill a thing, and we can kill a thing. Oh, is it Bogles? Oh, it's Hammer. Okay. So this hand's probably pretty fine versus Hammer. We're gonna just have to watch out for Urza's Saga. Alright, well, we can for sure kill a thing. In case there was any question. Alright, I'm gonna be fetch shocking at some point anyway. So I'm gonna play a Mire now, because if for whatever reason I don't have to push, I can get a fetch in painlessly. And then I'm gonna start on between Overgrown Tomb and Stomping Ground. Matchup seems favorable. Yeah, I think this matchup is favorable. Barring Urza's Saga. I think this matchup was like 95% before that card. Now I think it's pretty close. Saga is very, very good. Alright, well, this is a kill everything on sight matchup, but I'm going to have to be careful with Inkmoth and Hammer. Even now, right? Like, I can't even play Tarmogoyf on 2, because they could just activate, play a land, and equip a Hammer. So, given that I'm not playing Goyfon 2, let's just get the Blood Crypt. Say yes. Kill this. Not great. Land, go. Knight. Not something I'm wanting to kill with the Terminate. Oof, that's bad. At least the killing something, even if it's an Inkmoth, does still remove the thing from combat. Yeah, and they're just not even going to equip the Hammer. Oh, they are? Alright, well, I have to let this resolve first so they actually target the thing. If I don't do this, if I kill this with this on the stack, they just equip it to the Mem Knight. Alright, so Overgrown Tomb, say yes. Kill that. They'll regenerate it, but it'll be removed from combat. They just let it happen. Cool. Alright, so Hammer in play. They could still just find another one, which is a problem. Alright, and found the push. Push was excellent, because that allows us to deploy a Tarmogoyf and not fear immediately dying. Saga really good. Personally don't think it's ban-worthy good. Yeah, I mean, all the decks that it goes in are very easily hated out. There's the Saga. Pithing Needle, yep. Like what? Liliana would be the good name. They named it. Alright. The Kenpachi says drink some water. I'll do that in a sec, Jer. Alright, yeah. Do I want to go for the Fatal Push? Pause a sec, make them think that I have it. I mean, with the presence of Sigarda's aid, I mean, I do have another Terminate. You know what, I'm going to go for it. Reason being is I've got Liliana. Oh, wait, no, they have Pithing Needle. I'll say I can then Liliana onto an empty board, but they've got the Needle. Alright, well, they're using this. Sure. Removed from combat, yep. Land? Not that land. Should have been more specific. Alright, well, I guess I'm attacking. Thoughts on War Artifact 8 in sideboard? I feel like the artifacts are out in full force. I've got an Ancient Grudge in the sideboard, but that's about it. I could definitely see just naturally going up on Kolaghan's Command, because obviously Kolaghan's Command has a Shatter mode, which is typically strong. Alright, so they're... I'm assuming planning on activating an Urza Saga here. That card doesn't do anything. So I could just play the Ragavan here. That leaves me dead to a hammer, and I am actually just dead to hammer, right? Because this is gonna pop off and put a hammer into play, and if this is activated before that happens, they can just auto-equip it and kill me. So I actually can't put down a removal spell here, which I guess means I'm playing Monkey and saying go, because Liliana does nothing. Yeah, I mean this was one of my hesitations with Ragavan. Like it's very good while ahead, but when you're trying to play the control deck, it just is not very good. Can I attack? They would have 1, 2, 3. Itself is 4. If they activate Ink Moth just to itself, that's 5. Which means that they actually get to just eat the Goyf. Can't even attack. Like we're behind as is, and then they have Luris. Saga. Like I said, like I thought this matchup was very good, but Saga definitely changes things. They get just another hammer. Yeah. I'm going to terminate that one. I mean, hammers don't really do a lot on their own. Unless they've got the Metalcraft thing. Well, I guess I'm Blood Braiding. I can attack with the Tarmogoyf. If they double block, I guess I kill Construct. But that's not something I'm super interested in. I guess I'll still just play the Blood Braid and see what we can hit. I mean, most spells in the deck are good. We just don't want to hit a discard spell. Alright, another Goyf is fine. That makes me feel at least a little okay attacking, because I know I'll have a backup piece of pressure. I kind of have to do this now, too, because any other artifact in their deck means this is going to start eating stuff. If they have an equipment already and they just flash it in, then get got. Oh, I'm stupid. I even said that this was possible. I said this was possible 2 turns ago and then just didn't do it this time. Doop. They should probably just be going for the Luris plan. I wouldn't even waste my time with the Canopy. Sure. I guess they could do both. Removal. That's a good one. Wish I had 2 Glyphs in play. So they'll discard their non-Luris card, presumably. Yeah. I guess it's free to play the Liliana. Can't activate it. So now they can just start recurring a jar, which is a problem. Or they could just draw the card that immediately kills us. That works too. I mean, it makes it lose flying though, right? If they had an additional mana, they can kill us, because if you put the hammer on this and then activate it again, it regains flying because of the layering. I can block this thing exactly once. I guess if they just attack with a bunch of stuff, that's pretty bad for me too. So this blocks here, has to. And then I trade away everything else. I guess I could kill that. This is 5/6. Take 11. Nice. So I can escape the Croxa, which would have them discarding their Luris, but I'm still just forced into double chump mode. So I think I just have to Bloodbraid here. Because if I Bloodbraid and hit, I guess like a Fatal Push and can kill this, then I could maybe just chump that and have some attacks. The issue there is they'd still just have the Luris. So maybe I should just Croxa anyway to double chump and then still have availability to Croxa. But honestly, my only real... It's like, if I do this, I'm still just very behind. So like my only realistic hope of turning the corner may be to Hail Mary this for Kolaghan's Command. I think I gotta roll the wheel. Just pray that Kolaghan's Command is the first spell in my library. Nope. I mean... No, yeah, I'm just dead. Like I said, that could take Luris, but then I go to 1, then I die to the Memnite. Yeah, Urza Saga was the story of that game. And then me just throwing a Tarmogoyf away, obviously. Ancient Grudge gonna be good. Engineer gonna be good. Brutality kills most things as long as it doesn't have a hammer on it. Spellbomb's good for only the Luris plan. Ashiok stops the various tutor effects, and there are many. There's Stoneforge, there's the one mana sorcery, there's also Urza Saga now. So I think these 5 are the auto includes. I am not super excited about Ragavan when they've got so many 0 mana creatures. I guess it gets through the Ornithopter well. I'm gonna keep all of the cheap interactive stuff. Gonna keep the Bobs for sure. I guess Voidwalker is probably the weakest threat. And the Lilianas also just don't seem that good, especially when they're flooding the board. So I think this is what I'm interested in. I could see reason for a Spell Bomb, but it's literally just for the Luris plan, like just for that. This seems fine. Can't keep 2 removal spells and 5 lands. Can keep this. This hand's quite strong. I think I'm just bottoming one of the 1 mana removal spells. Because I obviously want the lands to cast the Ashiok, and then obviously Grudge is great. So I think I'm going to keep the Push, because Push can kill through a hammer at instant speed. I'll just play this, say go. I've got the aid. Yep. Well, I guess I get to Overgrown Tomb tapped. And then I'll attempt to Ashiok onto an empty board. Needle. Yep. We've got a few answers to that, but I'm not going to prioritize it. The name's Liliana again. And Drum. Sure. Alright, well we get to Ashiok onto an empty board, which is nice. Don't even really see a reason to activate it. Like, we could hit Croxa of our own, so when I do eventually start milling, I might just hit ourselves. Yeah. We can kill that pretty easily. Hammer auto-equips. I mean, this is why I kept the Fatal Push. Oof, Saga as well. Brutal. Drum, sure. Okay, so how am I wanting to deal with the Pure Steel Paladin? I think I want to just use this Kolaghan's command. I can do 2 damage to the Paladin and kill the Hammer. Killing Hammer is relevant because it makes future copies of Pure Steel Paladin worse. And then I'll probably use the Ancient Grudge to kill the halves of the Urza Saga token. And I for sure want to do this now because I don't want them flashing in more equipment and drawing more cards. So I'll shock this, shatter Hammer, and this will be especially potent because they can actually tutor for hammers. So every hammer is super valuable. So destroy an artifact, 2 to a target. Destroy an artifact, 2 to a target. Lamb go. Our only threat right now is a Ravine. Not the threat I'm hoping for. The hope is that they're just going to end up getting saturated with stuff that would tutor, and Ashiok gets to stop it. They did find another Paladin. And a Shadow Spear. Yikes. Alright, well, I think I'm bolting that, because again, push will kill a creature through a hammer. So I guess Thoughtseize first is nice. Could be saving the Thoughtseize for when they put Luris to hand. Oh, they just have hammer again? Alright, well, I should definitely respond, right? Because if I don't kill this, they're gonna draw a card off of it entering. Nice. Good thing I didn't go for bolt first then. Take a drum, sure. And is it time to start activating the Ashiok? I don't see why not. I guess like they do have the Luris, but it's not even in hand yet. We're getting enough valuable stuff out of the yard where I'm comfortable attempting to look for a Croaks of our own. Of course, we made a mill of Bloodbraid off of the top. Brutal. Alright, so this is not going to be able to tutor because of the Ashiok, so they should probably just activate this. Get their last little value out of it. We can grudge it. Come on, deck. Darn. Well, is it time to just start getting in with a Ravine? I feel like it might just be time to start getting in with a Ravine. Hiya. Ravine beats. What year is it? In a world of Urza Saga? Nah. Raging Ravine. Ingenious Smith. Whenever Ingenious Smith enters the battlefield, look at the top 4. You may reveal an artifact from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in the library in your random order. Whenever one or more artifacts enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on a Genius Smith. It triggers only once a turn. That's cool. Just a little grindy card. Doesn't actually involve tutoring. They bricked. Nice. Probably supposed to Ashiok Self-Layer to see if I hit Kroxa first. That's reasonable. I've still got access to that line. Yeah, I should probably just do that now too. I'm really gonna want to kill this to keep the Ashiok ticking. Let's do it now. Yeah, you're right though. I think it would have been probably best to do it last turn. We hit another Bloodbraid and a Goyf and a Ragavan. We're just milling all of our threats. No. All right, so unfortunately, I can no longer attack and keep Ashiok alive. If they have an artifact enter, they can also just like equip Shadow Spear, for example. And I guess I'll just bolt now because again, if they just flash in an equipment, they can protect it through the bolt. I guess not necessarily true because of the grudge, but I'd rather keep the grudge for something more problematic when bolt takes care of this so easily. I guess they could still flash in a hammer, in which case I could still just grudge the hammer and kill it anyway. Yeah, pressure has been the big piece that we're missing. We've got a lot of good draws though. Literally any of the threats. Also Kolaghan's command to buy back a threat. We used one of those already though. What you got? What you got? Stoneforge cannot search. This is equip 2, I believe. Yeah. And I am going to just use the push on this because that means I can continue chipping in with the Ravine. Again, if I mill a Kroxa, I'm still going to want to just play the Kroxa. Did not hit it. Milled some more. Another threat, though. Alright, so let's get in. I mean, they're dead next turn to this thing. That looks like a desperation activation. Hey, we did it. Alrighty. Any reasons to change? I guess the only thing that I'm really, considering would be brutality. And we may even want to just make the swap for something on the top end like a Bloodbraid. Bloodbraid is really expensive. It's hard to tap out for Bloodbraid unless we're already quite ahead. I kind of like at least bringing in one more interactive spell. It's pretty marginal, but I think it is a little bit better. Do that. Hope to have a Ragavan early and try to defend it. That was a mulligan too. We did mulligan to 6 there. Found lots of interaction and an Ashiok. We've got early Ragavan, we've got early interaction, and we've got an Ashiok. Alright, this is seemingly the nuts. Can't wait to see how we lose. Esper Sentinel. So whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the first non-creature spell, yeah. Well, unfortunately, this is not the board for a Ragavan. If they attack, I'm gonna trade. Uh-oh. So, whatever I block, they just put a hammer on. Yikes. I guess I'll block this one because if they put a hammer on this one, I would rather terminate this, which means the hammer would fall off. I'm glad I had a chump blocker on turn 1. Oh, they're just going for the damage. Fair enough. I mean, we've got the Terminates to fend it off for a little while. I mean, if they've got second hammer, we do just die. Which would be their actual nuts. They could also tutor for it, which would be unfortunate. Alright, let's just get in that sweet F6 value. Like, this has to get terminated literally no matter what. So, I mean, if you've got it, you've got it. Land plus Stoneforge does it. Is your last card a land? Apparently not. Yeah, we needed a 1-mana removal spell there. Because now the issue is... I guess we have the Kolaghan's command to just kill the hammer. Right? So it's not the end of the world. So we're not just dead. They've got a hammer. Then we'll take the hit, and then end step I can do 2 damage and shatter, and then if they go for the hammer to save the Stoneforge, I can then untap and just like terminate this. So this will get basic mountain. Artifact, 2 damage. It's like they have to hammer if they want to just like save a thing, right? Now we can terminate the Stoneforge. Ragavan? No. I can also cast the Inquisition. We know their last card is a spell. The thing is though, like if they just like play a land, they could put Luris to hand. I guess we have Ashiok to deal with it then. Yeah, it might just be important enough to make sure their last card doesn't just kill us before we terminate. It's like we know it's something we can take. That's a good thing to take. We'll just get the F6 value. That's what I got. Alright, we're alive, but barely. Is this a chip in for 1 infect? That I can deal with. I mean, if they find another hammer, we'll still die to the 10 infect. Ooh. Is it time? It's like the issue with waiting with the Ashiok is if they find any of their various tutor effects, they could just like immediately get there. Thing is, like, if I'm not clocking them, they're just getting more time, and more time is dangerous. So I could play it safe, or I could try to turn the corner. If this hits a creature, I could really start pulling ahead quickly. I mean, they obviously didn't draw the tutor, so it's like, what are the tutors that even bite me here? It's Stoneforge and the 1-mana sorcery. Dark Reprisal says prefer BBE. Alright, if you're in chat, you get a vote. I'm not going to set up a straw poll, but if you would like to give in your input, now's the time. Ashiok is the play it safe, but Bliberate is the play to kill them ASAP. So I'll give everyone a few seconds to, if they would like to provide input. Pretty close. Ian McCurrick says BBE only. Need to get them dead, says Big Daddy Snow. Cast Bloodbraid. Yeah, I'm liking getting them dead. It's not super trivial. There are also just like things this could hit that would not shut it down, but would be very good. Yeah, everyone's saying Bloodbraid. A Bolt. Bolt is one of the weaker hits, but at least it goes to face. And then, is there a reason to ever fetch? I mean, there's not really a reason, right? They found another Ink Moth. Which means if they have other hammer, we're just dead. Third copy of the hammer, that is. They just needed double white. Oh god, they drew the paladin. So we are dead next turn. Now would be a really good time to draw something interactive. Can we hit Ancient Grudge? Alright, now I will fetch. I want to take something, take a land out of the deck, right? Alright. Now would be a really good time to draw something impactful. No. that would have been a reason to actually not fetch, right? Alright, well, I'm still gonna for sure play the Ashiok. I guess I could mill myself attempting to find Kroxa. We found a Kroxa. Yeah, and then playing Dark Confidant means we get to chump the Paladin. The issue... Oh no, we're just dead. We're just dead. Because what they do is they activate Ink Moth, equip the hammer, and then they can tap the Paladin for mana to reactivate Ink Moth and re-give it flying. So I can't even play the Bob, or else they'll know that they have the green light. Yeah, if I play the Bob, if I play the Bob, we're dead on board. We're still dead on board, but they don't know that. They don't know that they have the green light. Grudge doesn't really change much. Yeah, if they go for it, we're dead. Yeah, Paladin was a strong find. Yep, and they just have to give it flying again. But we're also just dead to the attacks. Yeah. So if we had removal, this could maybe get hairy for them, but as it turns out, we don't have it, so we are dead. Yeah, we needed like a Grudge there. Grudge would have been the best case. All right, so a classic 3 and 2. So for purposes of the deck tech / recording, I'm gonna be mainly commenting on only the newer cards, which are Ragavan and the Dauthi Voidwalker. I guess let's start with the Ragavan because that's kind of the hot topic, right? So I'll leave it highlighted so y'all can read it on the recording. So obviously this is going to be absolutely phenomenal if you can play it on turn 1 and then kind of play the Delver strategy where you just try to stay on the front foot while you're disrupting. It's in that sense very good in the aggro decks, or at least the decks that are attempting to be on the beatdown more often than not. So where I have been skeptical of the card is, again, it tends to be very good while you're on the front foot and trying to stay on the front foot, but it's not as good when you're coming from behind. That said, it is still fairly strong in like the various mid-range battles, assuming you're able to connect with it. But in a deck like traditional Jund, or even what is evolving into being just like black-red mid-range, in shells that more often than not, or at least a good majority of the time, take the stance of the control deck, having an efficient beater just isn't really what a control deck is looking for. That said, it can still be quite effective in a control deck as a way to turn the corner or just be one of the 1 or 2 win conditions. But while you're playing from behind or even at parity, Ragavan isn't really that good. Which is why I hear a lot of people saying, like, oh, Ragavan's so busted, like, it's probably going to be banned. I don't think so. Like, the card's very good in certain situations, but in a lot of situations, Especially in strategies like this, Ragavan ends up being just kind of dead. We didn't see it. I think we have 3 in the deck, and we had it available on turn 1. I think in 2 of the 5 matches that we played. And it was fine. It was pretty often a lightning rod, which is fine. Like, dies to removal is a real thing. So I mean, hard to evaluate a card based on the fact that it dies like anything else. But I mean, it's still a must answer threat, and it's at least very threatening, for, I guess, lack of a better word. I'm not sure that it fits in a shell that likes to be the control deck like this. In fact, very often, at least in this 5-match sample size, which isn't a big sample size, it was not good. Like, it was very solidly below average in a deck full of below average cards. Because let's be honest, Jund is not the top dog that it was like 5 years ago, for example. It's obviously still a blast to play, and like with the right tuning can maybe become competitive if you're knowing very specifically what you're trying to combat. But I mean, just throwing it into traditional Jund, I was never convinced it was good, and I'm still not convinced that it's good. So that's my thought on that. The Voidwalker, on the other hand, continues to be slightly above average. Having access to main deck Grave Hate has felt very comforting. We've had multiple scenarios where we play against Graveyard deck, and it's been pretty much the sole reason why we stayed in the game and eventually won. So Voidwalker, I've been very pleasantly surprised with. Obviously, again, in situations where we are trying to be the control deck, it tends to be weaker because it doesn't block very well, doesn't interact with the board. But it having Shadow means that in the stalemates, in the even control matchups, it's going to be able to reliably connect and sometimes provide a meaningful advantage in the form of its activated ability. So Voidwalker I have been impressed with, and Ragavan in this shell I have not been. So that's gonna. Those are my thoughts on those 2 cards, at least as it pertains to these 5 matches. So I'll go ahead and end the recording there. So if you're watching this on the YouTube, I want to thank you for stopping by. Remember to like and subscribe. They are great free ways to support what I do. And if you like the content, it's definitely something you should consider, because I put a lot of effort into these videos, and it feels good to get those subs. So until next time, have a good one, and Jund them out.